At number 32 in the countdown, it's Casey and the Sunshine Band from the Sunshine State, Florida. The song is called Get Down Tonight. At number 32 in the countdown, first week on, Get Down Tonight by Casey and the Sunshine Band.
The hits from coast to coast.
This is Casey Kasem in Hollywood on American Top 40, and it's time now to tell the story once again of the artist who spent 5 years sweeping floors, dumping garbage, and packing boxes for his record company before they let him into the studio to record. The man's name is Harry Wayne Casey, and back in 1968, when he was just 17 years old, he went to TK Records in his hometown of Hialeah, Florida, and asked for a job. Well, they told him there was nothing available. But the young man was so anxious to get started on his career, he offered to do all the cleanup work for free, if they just let him hang around the studio and learn whatever he could. They agreed, and he spent the next 5 years sweeping floors, dumping garbage, packing boxes, and generally cleaning out the studio. He also must have done a lot of watching and learning, because when they finally let him in the studio to record, Harry walked right in and co-wrote and co-produced a #1 smash called Rock Your Baby for George McCrae. And he followed that by writing, producing, and performing a #1 hit called Get Down Tonight, and another #1 hit that we're going to listen to right now called That's the Way I Like It. 3 #1 songs for the former garbage collector. Here's Casey and the Sunshine Band. Casey and the Sunshine Band, after 10 consecutive weeks in the top 10, they fall to number 24 this week with That's the Way I Like It.
Casey's Coast to Coast.
Well, now on American Top 40, I have the latest hit by the hottest songwriting team in the country. You know, in the past 28 months, they've placed 4 songs at #1 on the pop charts. And those same 4 songs also went #1 soul. Their names are Harry Wayne Casey and Rick Finch. And their string of super #1 hits goes back to July of '74. The first of the 4 was Rock Your Baby, recorded by George McCrae. Then they wrote the first of 3 #1 songs for themselves. Their band recorded Get Down Tonight, and it went to the top of the charts. 3 months later, their band recorded another song, That's the Way I Like It, and it went #1 soul and pop. Well, now, of course, I think you've figured out that songwriter Harry Wayne Casey is KC of the Sunshine Band. And a couple of months ago, he and his writing partner Rick Finch had their 4th #1 song in the last 28 months. #1 pop and soul. It's their latest smash. This week at number 23, Casey and the Sunshine Band with Shake Your Booty. Shake, shake, shake your booty. Casey and the Sunshine Band at number 23 with a former #1 song in American Top 40.
The hits from coast to coast.
Well, now I have the current hit by the #1 disco group in the country, whose leader literally risked his life to take advantage of their first big break. I'm talking about the 9 men who call themselves Casey and the Sunshine Band. In the fall of 1974, a year before their first pop hit in this country, one of their singles called Queen of Clubs became a top 5 smash in England. And an English promoter booked them on a British tour. Fantastic. Just the break they'd been hoping for. But the day before the flight to London, their leader, Harry Casey, was rushed to the hospital with a burst appendix. And after very complicated surgery, his doctors told him that he'd have to avoid any strenuous activity for weeks. But Casey was more concerned about blowing an opportunity as big as that British tour. So he told the doctors that he could save the tour if he postponed it for no more than 2 weeks. But his doctors said no way would he be able to work that soon after that appendectomy. Any strain could open him up, and that would be fatal. Well, at this point, Casey lied to his doctors. He told them that his part in the band's performance was very quiet, not active. Finally, after Casey gave his solemn promise to take it easy, the doctors agreed to let him go, and he boarded the plane in a wheelchair because he was still too weak to walk. And for 3 weeks, Casey boogied his way across England, knowing that at any moment the activity could kill him. He gambled his life, and he won. At number 11 this week, here's Casey and the Sunshine Band with I'm Your Boogie Man.
I'm your boogie man.
Casey and the Sunshine Band on American Top 40 at number 11, and moving up with I'm Your Boogie Man. You know, sometimes to get to the top, you've got to start at the bottom. And that's exactly what happened to a pair of young men named Harry Casey and Rick Finch. Their dream was to become singers and songwriters, but the only way they could get their feet in the door at a recording company was to take a job emptying ashtrays and waste paper baskets. So, back in 1974, Casey and Finch became janitors at a small Florida recording company called TK Records. After a long day's work at TK, watching the ins and outs of the record business, Rick and Harry would go home and work hard at their other career, writing songs. They'd show those songs to the people at TK Records, and one of them came to the attention of producer Steve Alamo. And Steve thought a man named George McRae might be just the person to give the song a try. So George cut the single, and it sounded like this. Well, that song, Rock Your Baby, hit number 1, made a fortune for George McRae, and established the careers of Harry Casey and Rick Finch. And according to Joseph Morels, the noted British pop music historian, Rock Your Baby is the biggest selling single of the 70s, with worldwide sales of more than 11 million copies. Since then, Harry and Rick have continued to have some pretty fair success as Casey and the Sunshine Band. Here they are at number 4 with Please Don't Go. Casey and the Sunshine Band at number 4, moving up 2 notches, 4th week in the top 10 on American Top 40 with Please Don't Go. 3 big ones on our way to number 1 as we count them down.
Casey's Coast to Coast.
Now, let's find out whatever happened to one of the biggest acts of the 70s, a super disco act who scored with 5 number 1s. Whatever happened to Casey and the Sunshine Band? Between 1975 and 79, Casey and the band were on top of the record world. They hit the top of the chart 5 times with Get Down Tonight, That's the Way, Shake Your Booty, I'm Your Boogie Man, and Please Don't Go. And Casey himself had also hit number 2 in a duet with Terry DeSario called Yes, I'm Ready. Then, in January of 1982, Casey was the victim of a head-on car crash which nearly killed him. He suffered a serious concussion, was in a coma for days, and lay in a hospital bed in traction for more than 4 months. Casey says for the rest of 1982, he was home, but out of commission as his body slowly healed. He says, quote, "It was a frustrating time because I couldn't move my right arm at all, so I couldn't play the piano or write songs. Sometimes I felt everything I'd ever worked for had ended." While Casey was getting better, the rest of the band continued to tour. But it wasn't the same without their leader. Casey says that slowly, painfully, he returned to music, went back to the studio, started to work again with the band. And one of the songs from their latest album did what Casey's songs do best. It became a number 1 hit. Not here in America, but in England, where Give It Up reached the top spot on the British chart this past summer. Casey says, "Today's music is no different from what we were playing 8 years ago. We've had the right sound all along." And that's whatever became of one of the hottest groups of the disco years, Casey and the Sunshine Band. And the countdown continues.
Number 35.
Now we're up to the comeback hit by one of the biggest stars of the disco years. He prepared for his career as a recording star by emptying ashtrays, dumping garbage, and sweeping the floors of a recording studio. All for no pay. This artist, who had 5 number 1 singles, started out in 1968, knocking on doors in his hometown of Hialeah, Florida. He was 17 years old then. One of the doors he knocked on belonged to TK Records, and when they told him there were no jobs available, he offered to do all the cleanup work for free if they'd let him hang around the studio. He figured that way he could learn from the musicians and songwriters. Well, the folks at TK Records agreed, and this young star-to-be spent the next 3 years as a super errand boy. He learned a lot about recording, and when the company finally gave him permission to use the studio, he walked right in and co-wrote and co-produced a number 1 smash for George McRae, the 1974 hit Rock Your Baby. And he followed that up by writing, producing, and performing a string of number 1s for himself and his band. Get Down Tonight, That's the Way I Like It, Shake Your Booty, I'm Your Boogie Man, and Please Don't Go. 5 number 1 smashes for KC of KC and the Sunshine Band. And it all started because Harry Casey knew how to put himself where he could learn the business, cleaning up recording studios. Casey is in the countdown this week on American Top 40 as a solo artist. His comeback hit moves up 5 notches this week to number 28. Here's Give It Up. Casey at number 28, moving up 5 notches, 4th week on the chart with Give It Up.
Casey's Coast to Coast.